All right, we're live from the five. What's going on, you guys? It's your boy Three Stickity Stacks in this thing, baby, representing Team Kings of Games. And if you guys are actually cognizant of who Dilemma is, I have him guest uploading on my channel today. He's actually a ZEFRA lover like myself. He actually he knows the potential of this deck, and he hit me up earlier last week, basically letting me know that he had a crazy ZEFRA list that he wanted to show to you guys. So I'm gonna let him take over, and he's gonna do a majority of the talking. And you can go ahead and get started whenever you're comfortable, bro.
Right. So the reason that this version particularly came about was we discovered that the Ancient Warrior's Masterful Sunmu was essentially a one-card rank 4, and also a Link 2 that you can use as a disruption. So because ZEFRA doesn't need his normal summon, we just decided to play 3 Tenki and 2 Sunmu to be able to constantly get to Gallant Granite, which always allows us to get to Anger Translator as soon as possible. Or
Yeah,
the
that's
people that don't
nice.
Yeah, Gallant Granite as a card is insane, and also it allows us to get the ZEFRA core, which allows us some Nirvana High Paladin sort of lines,
Did
which
you
are
just say
really
Anger
cool.
Translator?
I did indeed.
You have my approval.
I mean, I've been watching your channel for years, brother. Years.
Dang, bro. I
Yeah,
appreciate that.
I've been subbed since you were at I think it was 4K that I
Wow.
subbed to you. It's been a long time, man. It's been a long time.
Wow.
And I'm sat here at 600. Yes, you know what I mean. But
Hey, it feels nice to grow, period. No matter
yeah,
how
bro.
much you got.
Yeah, man. So do you want me to go through everything card by card, or do you just want me to explain everything?
You can kind of however I don't know how you have it organized on your screen, but you can talk about the most important cards first, and you can kind of go through
Yeah,
your defensive cards last.
yeah. So the main starter cards are obviously the 3 Zephyr.
Yes.
Well, we'll go through the 3 Zephyr, the 3 Zephyr, the 3 Zefraxi, the 2 Thuban, 2 Pilika, 1 Wendy, 1 Call, 1 Naga. People might be thinking Naga's a bit weird. So it comes up a lot of the time where your Zephyrath gets negated by Apcolin, and you can use Naga to bounce the Zephyrath, so it's no longer negated. And also it's a level 2. It's also a level 2 you can target with Rexy to make it mega more consistently as well.
Right. The card's artwork looks sick too.
Yeah. People opening their Shaddoll structure deck just take this out immediately, but it's actually a really good kit. And then we're playing the Ancient Warrior package with the Tenkis to be able to consistently get to Gallant Granite.
So this is a one-card Gallant Granite.
It's a 1-card Granite or a 1-card Ancient Warrior's Oath Link 2.
Oh, it's a 1-card Interruption. That is sick.
Yeah, and also if you ZEFRA War your opponent, you can use the Link 2 and set the ZEFRA War from field. So essentially it becomes
yes.
a bounce.
That reminds me of droplets, like how you can use the cost. Okay, so you're saying if you use ZEFRA War to pop a card, you can chain him, send the war for cost.
Yeah.
So you get a pop and a bounce, and this basically pays for itself. Okay.
Yeah,
that's really nice.
That's the upside. The only downside is Brick. He can't he only special summons himself when he's searched by an Ancient Warrior card. But not to mention, the Ancient Warrior Link also adds another Ancient Warrior monster, so it immediately pays for itself when you make it.
Right. Okay, so you're going to stay at 5 cards. I look at this as a +1 then. Because if you're still at 5 cards in hand and you have a Link 2 up on the field or Gallant Granite, either way it's going to pay for itself, whether you make the Link 2 or the Gallant. I like that.
Yeah, for sure.
I like that a lot.
And then on top of that, we're playing the very standard, just 3 Gamma, 1 Driver as the only hand trap. You can argue whether or not you want to play Dimension Shifter in the main deck for this version.
Right. I could see how it could conflict though.
Yeah, for sure. So just playing the Gamma is what I've been personally doing. And then obviously the Gizmek Kaku to make Calamities. I don't know if people know how this works.
Yeah, you can explain it to them. Teach them how to make Chlamydia, bro.
So essentially what you do is you summon Zephrinu and Zefraxi, and use the Zefraxi to target the Zephrinu. And then when you make Crocker Dragon with the 2 monsters, you can use Oracle of the Zephyr as Chainlink 2 and the Crocker Dragon as Chainlink 1 to stack and draw Gizmek Kaku, which is conveniently another level 9. You can just special summon and make Calamities with. So, yeah. And Calamities is just the win condition in a lot of decks right now. So it being a
Even
win
this
condition
deck.
in our deck as well is just making
Indeed.
everything gradually better.
It's definitely icing on the cake.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, ending on Calamities plus ZEFRA Path is game in every matchup. So, like, I don't think another deck in the game can actually play through Calamities plus Path.
Yeah, that's way
Correct
too
me if I'm
OP.
wrong.
Ah, that's two really, really strong floodgates. A lot of decks can't play through Path alone.
Yeah, for sure.
And then you have like a VFD in the equation. Like that's really,
Yeah.
really crippling, bro. It's
You don't think
really,
it's
really hard.
crazy that you don't think it's crazy that it's taken us this long to discover Path, by the way. Like, I've been playing this deck since 2016, and I only caught onto Path like 2 years ago.
It'd be like that because honestly, bro, when I went through over the Zephyr cards again, I noticed that I didn't really give any attention to Chosen. But then I kind of read it and I was like, dang, I can see why nobody plays this card. But it's like sometimes you have to like refresh your memory and just go through all the Zephyr cards again. Be like, is there something
Yeah,
that's really good that I'm not playing yet?
yeah.
Wait a
Path.
minute. I have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
You're not playing Zephyr Saiton. I just noticed that.
Yeah, I'm not playing ZEFRA actually.
Wow. Okay. Why are you not playing that card? I really want to know.
To even out the amount of high scales to low scales. So whenever I'm playing ZEFRA, I want as many low scales as possible because it's low scales that combo with ZEFRA. I
Right,
really
because
wanted
this is
to play.
normally your high skills anger translator.
Yeah,
Very
exactly.
true.
So I wanted to play ZEFRA Core because it's a rock for Gallant Granite.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to cut any of the other 7 scales because the other options were Wendy or a copy of Zephyrini, and that just wasn't happening.
Yeah,
So
no,
in
there's
order to
no way
make
you're
room for
cutting those.
Yeah, so to make room for core, Saiton got cut, unfortunately. But you can
Dang.
cut a copy of Zephyr War for a Saiton if you really want to.
Yeah, I think Saiton is really, really good, bro. Like, he's
Yeah,
incredible.
he's also just big, and that's the reason I miss him. It's like sometimes you struggle to finish games in Zephyr. I don't know if you've noticed that.
Yeah,
So
it has trouble closing games out. It lacks, like, that, the aggro aspect that the Endymion variants have. And I normally tell people that, like, Endymion variants can close games out faster when it comes to Pendulum decks. Like, they have a more consistent way to OTK.
yeah, but the Endymion engine doesn't give you access to stuff like Path
No,
and
not at all.
the Calamity
Like,
cover.
that's where like this as a pendulum variant shines. Like Zephyr is able to grind, but it unfortunately has to be able to grind because it doesn't close games out as fast as other pendulum archetypes do.
Yeah, for sure. Like the upside of this variant though is like the ancient warrior guy is like 1800, and that's pretty big in the grand scale of things because that's
Oh
one turn
yeah,
a lot. Because when the link's summoned, you get to add another copy of it, so you have a guaranteed normal summon that will deal 1800 damage if your opponent doesn't play your blood. So you have like a guaranteed 4800 damage
yeah. I like
for
this.
3.
It's very small too. Like it's a compact package. It's just the three, the 2-in-1, and you're playing three Tinkies. I like that. It's not really like getting in the way of anything. It seems like you really found a way to like fit everything you wanted to.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to play more hand traps, but to be honest, the deck's just fine, right?
Right.
So, and all the hand traps are in the side deck anyway. So,
I see.
because we've got the Drolls, the Shifters, and the Lanciers.
Is there
And then,
anything else you want to say about the main deck before you get to the side deck, though?
not particularly, unless you have any other questions about it.
Okay, so I'll ask you this because like we both play this deck, so we know. So
Sure.
like for a while, I really was on Triple War because this card's crazy. Like it's really good.
Yeah.
It's a hand trap. But like my question to you, like, because I do see that you're playing Nirvana, so I could see that you have a way to get access to your counter traps again. Do you ever miss like a second copy of either Divine Strike or Nine Pillars?
9 Pillars is something I missed a second copy of, but it's
Bro, me
only
too. I miss it really
it's
bad.
it's because of Dragoon though. I find that like 9 Pillars is an insane out to Dragoon, and if you can't make Metaphys Horus, having the second one in deck comes up. But
Yeah.
I honestly just prefer 3 War, because if your opponent droplets your Zephrony, you can chain the War, popping the Zephrony and removing it from the field so it always results.
That's very
Which is
good.
Same with like Imperm, Vela, all those other cards. So, in my personal opinion, the third wall is better, but
Right. No, this makes sense. Like I honestly, if I have any chance I have, I would play 3 war. I just wanted to know if you feel like how I feel sometimes, where I really miss the second copy of the counter traps. Like I personally
yeah,
literally side deck into them because like they're these cards are bonkers, bro.
yeah. So in a version of my channel, I played a Numeron version of this deck where I was siding a second copy of Pillars for the Eldritch matchup.
Really
Because the
good.
Eldritch matchup's kind of rough. So,
Yeah, I agree.
well, it's
Conquistador and
rough.
Zephyrath hurts a lot, bro.
But on the flip side of that coin, Zephyr Path completely like locks that deck out of the game. So it's
Absolutely.
two sides of one coin, right?
Right. Well, that pretty much wraps up the main deck. You want to do the side or the extra first?
That's entirely up to you. Should we just go through the side because it's next on the screen?
Yeah, let's go for the side deck. Go ahead, bro.
So I'm playing 2 Lancia, 3 Shifter, and 3 Troll for the hand traps.
Oh yeah, these are
I
turn
really wanted,
enders.
yeah. So I really just wanted to play the biggest blowout hand traps that I possibly could. Because I want my opponent's turn to end, so I'm able to put them under the path lock on turn 2.
Mm-hmm.
And Droll and Shifter end the Drytron player's turn instantly. Especially Shifter. I think Shifter is one of the most
Yes.
broken cards in the game right now, and everybody's ignoring it.
Yeah, I think Shifter's stronger than Droll, but obviously there's very few decks that can actually comfortably play this card.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the reason I like Droll is, especially in my local community, Pendulum's quite a big deck. So siding Droll has double utility because Shifter isn't particularly good versus them.
Yeah, I feel like Shifter's kind of okay because like they don't get the resources back to their extra deck; they actually get banished. But Droll just doesn't let them play at all.
Yeah, exactly. So I've just got like the 6 big blowout hand traps, and then 2 copies of Lancia because Dragon links randomly back in the format again, so we have to prep for that. The one of Bankruptops, which you can sometimes stack and draw with Oracle, which is another cool thing about ZEFRA, is you can access your sideboard cards that way.
Any monster in the game, bro.
And then 3 copies of Camion.
Yeah, tell them about this card.
This is the spicy tech. So this is a 1 card out to either Herald, Vanity's Ruler, Dragoon, or anything of that nature, just like an untargetable floodgate monster. So the way it works, if you have no monsters on the field, you normal summon it, and if it battles, it shuffles a monster, a card your opponent controls into the deck. It can't be responded to, and your opponent takes 500 burn. So it's really good in time. It can't be negated by either Herald or Dragoon. It doesn't target, and it's removed cards from the field as well.
It's a spell speed 4, non-targeting, non-destruction removal, and it burns. Let that sink in for a second.
And it sticks on the field, so if your opponent does try and kill you, they can't kill Camion by card effect, and they can't kill it by battle, so you have a guaranteed free turn.
This card is really good. Like this reminds me of when we were playing I want to say Zaphion it's the Water Time Lord when True Dracos were like one of the most popular decks. And we were siding in, the Water Time Lord to hit the back row, shuffle it all.
Yeah, Zaphion was the one. Yeah, Camion is just another one of those cards. It's very good. I've also won 2 matches in time because of Camion.
I like this. I like this a lot. This is really good.
Yeah, and then generic backer removal for Virtual World because you want to remove Chuche. You don't care about VFD with this deck. You just care about the trap card.
You can just wall up. Like it just doesn't matter.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, while we're on the topic, while I got you here, do you look at ZEFRA as Pendulum Salamangreat like I do?
Yeah. Like, literally, because your engine is so recursive, it's self-contained, all you need is really 2 cards to get you started. And, like, your second and third turn are typically way more explosive than your first turn is. So it's almost like Salamangreat, where, like, your first turn you need to set up, and once you have access to the cards that you need in your extra deck and in your Pilum zones, like, every turn just gets stronger. Like, my biggest problem is just running out of targets. That's when it kind of starts to diminish in value, but overall, like, this deck, it's just so good, bro. Like, it's mid-range. It's literally mid-range. That's why it's very similar to Salamangreats. But I want to say Salamangreats is like this deck because Zephyrs are the OGs and Salads are not.
Yeah, for sure. Like ZEFRA as a deck is very similar to Salamangreat. I think people
Yes.
that haven't seen ZEFRA, you can definitely compare it to. Like, ZEFRA New is Sunlight Wolf constantly setting an interruption every turn, and then
Mm-hmm.
on turn 3 or 4, you just blow them out. And that's just
Yes.
how the deck functions.
Yes, you get it. It's just like your turns get stronger and stronger the longer you have your engine up.
Exactly.
And like honestly, I tell people this, but I like really need it to sink in. This deck has the exact same utility that Electromite had before he got banned, and this is still the only Pendulum deck that has the utility that Electromite has. Being able to send anything you want from your extra deck face up, from your deck to your extra deck, and then you can add it to your hand with Windy. That's exactly what Electromite does. And this is the
Yeah.
only Pendulum deck right now in the game that has that utility.
Yeah. Anger Translated does that, man. Like, that's how it be.
It's really good.
And the fact that he's tutorable in not just 9 ways now, or 10 if you include Terraforming, but with the Ancient Warriors engine, we have another, 6
So you
ways
have
to get to it?
3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 16 ways to access ZEFRAF, or 19 ways to access ZEFRA, which means that you actually have 25, 26, 26 copies of either Path or any trap you want. That's insanely consistent.
It's the most consistent deck in the game.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Like you obviously get the games where you open like triple gamma and you're like, oh, what the fuck is this deck put in the bin, right? But like, this is by far the most consistent Yu-Gi-Oh deck that's existed for a long period of time. Obviously, with the outliers being like E-Dragons, Necros, yada yada yada. But as like a modern deck, this is like the most consistent modern deck that Yu-Gi-Oh has to offer.
I agree. It's really good. Now your extra deck looks pretty saucy too.
Yeah, the extra deck's spicy. So the first thing I'll address is Meta for Taurus.
Yes.
So a lot of lists are cutting this now, and I don't understand why. So it's an outer Dragoon. So essentially, it's just like it works the same with creature swap does. Your opponent has to mandatorily give you a card. So if you summon it and your opponent only controls Dragoon, they are forced to give you Dragoon, and then you have an key.
Yes.
Also, you can take a monster with a level and overlay that monster and the Horus into Sheridan.
Yes, I like this play.
Yeah, this is like one of the cooler things. Nirvana High Paladin is something that does come up to add backtrap cards. Also, being able to half your opponent's life points does significantly reduce the clock as well.
Yeah, and that helps, like we said earlier, we both mentioned that this deck has trouble closing the game out.
Yeah, exactly. Like, Nirvana High Paladin gives you that sort of big niche, you can do this sort of thing. Omega is just for Gamma. You can also make it with ZEFRA Naga.
Right.
And it's also good when your opponent Maximus is used. So I wanted to play 2 cards that were good with Maximus.
Oh, I see your Pegasus.
Yeah, exactly. So Wind Pegasus is not only a ladder into Nirvana High Paladin, but it's also background removal and a card that can be sent off with Maximus if our opponent Maximus does.
I do like the Omega because you can recycle your 9 pillars and your Divine Strikes with his graveyard effect, so you can get more targets for Niu.
Yeah, exactly. I've used Omega to recycle Kaku for lethal once, which was kind of cool.
Oh, that is very cool. That's nice.
I had 2 cards left in deck and an upstart in hand, so I was like, oh, Omega put back the Kaku, shuffle, draw 1, not the upstart, and drew Kaku for lethal.
That was nice.
Those games are the good games. You can't win games unless you're lucky, right? And then just the obvious Croc for combos. Gallant Granite is for the Ancient Warriors. Calamities is Calamities. We don't need to talk about this card. This card's insane and should not exist.
Warping a format.
The Ancient Warriors Link 2, which is essentially Compulse, that also rotates for a card and summon. Always pays for itself. Always a good form of interruption.
I like
essentially, I look at it the same way I look at IP Masquerade in the fact that it always has impact regardless of, like, because if your opponent goes into battle phase to deal with it, then they're wasting their battle phase and they can't kill you, same way IP Masquerade works. But this card just has dual utility, and it also, filters your deck as well. Barricade Board Blocker is something that quite a lot of ZEFRA players aren't playing. The reason I like this so much is it stops your opponent from targeting your destroying your pendulum scales and also destroying your ZEFRA path. So with cards like Harvey's Feather Duster in the format, you can just summon Barricade and you're like immune to stuff like that.
That's really important because the only way Path actually self-destructs is if one of your skills dies. Like, we do have Providence to protect either interaction, but just this alone, that's utility on top of your other protection.
And it also adds back Oracle for lethal pushes in the late game as well. So
I like this. You have the room, so why not play it?
Yeah. Boral Sword Dragon's pretty obvious. The reason we don't play Access Code is because it's quite difficult to make a unicorn and then make Access Code for the 5300.
Yeah, and it's still not lethal. That's why I like Sword over a Code a lot of the times, because this OTKs more consistently.
It's also another Dragoon out as well.
Yes.
So that's why we do play Sword. It's a consistent Dragoon out. We can always out it, because when Dragoon's negated 3 times, I think, Access Code can't kill it, whereas Boral Sword can kill it regardless. Gravity Controller is pretty self-explanatory. You just push your ZEFRA back into your extra deck if you do summon it and your extra monsters in, and it doesn't get outed. You can always just link it to Gravity Controller, and then you have free reign to Pendulum Summon again.
I like it.
IP Masquerade is IP Masquerade. We don't need to talk about this. Unicorn's the same, and Lambda is like low-key the best extra deck monster.
Yeah, you can't play Zephyrs without this.
Yeah, Lambda's one of those cards. It was either going to be Lambda or I was going to play Alter the Earth Charmer, the link to...
that requires an Earth monster, right?
Yeah, because if you crash it, you can search ZEFRA.
I like that. Okay. Lambda's definitely better, but that's still like another option.
Yeah, for sure. Like, there's plenty of options. Like, you can play that over Barricade, or you can play that over IP, or all sorts of things, but...
I definitely like that you're playing a second link too, though. Like, having a link to it down-pointing zones is really important in a deck like this, because sometimes that helps you to go aggro to get more resources from your extra deck.
Yeah, exactly. Like I say, the issue with ZEFRA is being able to push for damage. So being able to make a 1700 PA that gives you access to more monsters and get to Boral Sword quicker is, like, ideal.
I like it. You have any final thoughts?
ZEFRA's the best deck in the game. That's probably the only thought I have to give.
ZEFRA's the best deck in the game. There's one thing I wanted to touch up on really quickly concerning Metaphysics Horus. I think it's something that people overlook. This card doesn't just out cards like Dragoon. It out cards like Ultimate Falcon and things of that nature, even Great Magnus. The reason why this card can actually out cards that are unaffected by card effects is because this card actually affects your opponent and not the monster it's taking. So because it's like evenly matched, because it's forcing your opponent to commit to an action, it doesn't matter if that card's unaffected by any card effects you would activate. It's actually forcing your opponent to choose a monster they control and give it to you. So it's not affecting the monster in any way, shape, or form. So this card is really good. I don't know why people cut it. I really don't.
Yeah, I've seen people playing Charge Warrior again over this.
Nah, bro. Charge Warrior just doesn't compare. I get it. It's another way to stack and draw off Oracle, but it's just not the same, bro.
Yeah, exactly. Horus is the one. Especially like the utility with Sheridan.
Yeah.
I've used Sheridan to, like, take people's Elshador windows and stuff. Like these two in combination is ridiculous. Or like during August format, you'd use Sheridan to send Dingirsu and then bring back their Dingirsu from grave and use its effect on them. Like, there's all sorts of weird utility. I think that's why I like ZEFRA so much. It's the Swiss Army knife of Yu-Gi-Oh! in my personal opinion. It can do literally everything. It can do literally everything. It just takes a good pilot.
I like it. Well, we're going to close the video out on that. You guys definitely let me know what you think, how you feel about the list. At least try it first, you know. I would recommend that to anybody that's viewing it. You know, it's sometimes deck lists might not look as appealing to you. It might not look like it's going to work, but you have to try it first at least. So, you know, definitely don't knock it till you try it, and let us know how you ended up doing with it. You might get better results than some might get worse results than other. At the end of the day, I personally think this is a really good list, and it's worth looking into. Because there's so many variants of ZEFRA, but this one in particular, it provides interactions that you can't get playing pure ZEFRAs, and that's just the truth. But that's going to be it for the video, you guys. Deuces.